One of my favorite scientists did something really cool again. Let's talk about it. Okay, so if you're not familiar with the IKEA analogy, go check the video that's pinned on my page. I'll wait.
Okay, so one of the most dangerous typos your DNA can have is what's called a nonsense mutation. Like most dangerous mutation, it tweaks a codon or a step of the DNA instructions. Normal codons say, go get the next piece of this protein and stick it on, but a nonsense mutation turns a normal codon into a stop codon, which says, ignore all instructions after this and stop building. So it's like if your IKEA instructions told you to stop building your table before you put the legs on. It's just not going to be a very good table. In that pinned video, I explain how molecules called tRNAs are crucial for this process because they act like little assistants that bring over the right piece of the protein when it's called for by the instructions. But there's some special kinds of tRNA that when you reach the stop codon at the end of the instructions will step in and trigger shutdown of the assembly line. But if there's a nonsense mutation, that stop codon comes way too early, the tRNAs step in and shut the process down prematurely, and you're left with the protein equivalent of a legless table. But here's something a little wild. tRNAs also have to be made based on DNA instructions, and your DNA contains instructions to make way more kinds of tRNA than you actually need, so there's room to repurpose some of the redundant ones. And David Liu's lab has just done something very cool. What a surprise. They have edited the DNA instructions to make one of those redundant tRNAs so that it misreads a stop codon as a regular codon that says, go get the next piece of this protein and keep building. You're basically retraining that tRNA assistant to misread an incorrect set of instructions so that it ends up doing the correct thing. Now, there is still a lot of testing that needs to be done on this. There are a lot of safety concerns with DNA editing in general, and especially on strategies that are based on telling your cells to ignore instructions in unhealthy genes that also exist in healthy genes. Luckily, you've evolved a lot of fail-safe mechanisms on that front, and I'm going to make a whole separate video about those because they're really, really cool. But this is still really exciting. Nonsense mutations cause a lot of different kinds of genetic disease, so you can apply this relatively simple strategy to help a very wide range of patients.